think you just touched on a little bit why you retired, injury. So how did you kind of deal with that initially after retirement and go into what you're up to now? And
not great. I think, 1 minute you're a footballer, next you're not. 1 minute you're somebody, next minute you're not somebody. And I think that's really hard to take. I think you've got to have good people around you. You've got to have a big, strong mentality to see what the future holds and have a vision of what you want to do. I didn't have that, I'll be honest. I think I had a real struggle mentally. I think there's other people who could have done more, if I'm perfectly honest. I think the PFA do a really good job, really, really good job. But until they get older, until they know that you're coming out of the game, how do they know that these things are happening? I think I got pushed into that environment that I was probably 6 months of floating around, being depressed, not knowing what was happening, drinking too much than I should have been doing other things that I shouldn't have been doing, and then realising that you either sort your life out or you're not really going to have much of a future. And understanding now what the PFA works, the PFA put some good things in place, advised me of things that was available to me, pushing me down the route of education, which I started football with zero education in terms of I saw myself as a footballer. I didn't really try at school, didn't really have any ambition of going down that route, but they pushed me into certain things. I've got 2 degrees now, which I'm super proud of, and having an understanding of work in education, director of football in a local club around the area. So I've made good of what I want to do in terms of what I was, but I needed good people around me. Got a good family around me, a good girlfriend behind me, who helps me and guides me in times of places that I need to be. I think there's a lot of people who leave football with certain problems and certain issues, and listen, it's not nice. You know what I mean? I've known like a lot of really good friend of mine, Chris Barker, ended up committing suicide. And it's such a shame that a lot of footballers go down that route, and some days are darker than other days, and you see and hear things that are nice, and you just got to try and have, like I say, have good people around you, and have good understanding that life's for living, and nobody can take away at that time as a footballer. People can think I'm the best footballer in the world or the worst footballer in the world. I don't care what people thought of me as a player, really. I think one thing that people will always say of me, I hope, that is I worked hard, I scored some important goals. Those who played with me will say that I was a good laugh. I was brilliant socially. I was always up to something. I was always trying to have fun. I was always trying to make the best of a bad situation. But I always knew where the line was, and I always worked hard in terms of trying to get everyone together and just be the best version of me that I can be. And I think that's what you're trying to instill now with your own kids, still now with your life. And life's for living, isn't it? And my brother died a couple of years ago, and I think family-wise and trying to bring things together is just important, that you just understand that there's more to life than football. Football, when people say it's life and death, it's really important, really, really important, but it's just a game. And it's just a moment in time. Listen, I'm director of football. We drew last night, 1-1. Disappointed last night, but today's another day, and today's the time to spend with your family and your loved ones and do nice things and go to nice places and just enjoy life, and that's what you do.
Seize the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, of course you do, and I think that's the most important thing. And I think when you speak to people's families, and when I went to Chris's funeral and spoke to his brother and his family, it's just, I wish I could just give that information back to people like that, because I think that's the most important part, that those who aren't here anymore, who made those choices, and who going through tough times, I wish you can just speak out a little bit more and just so they can told how nice the people they are, instead of probably hearing the negatives all the time. And like it is such a shame.
Do you think, obviously there's no doubt many factors, but as a fan looking in from the outside, obviously I got no idea, but obviously football players have, as you say earlier, high highs, low lows. It's either extreme, really, isn't it, I guess, as a footballer, and then when you retire, you're kind of in that middle ground of, I don't want to call it normal, but kind of transition. Nothing extreme going on, I suppose. And do you think you're out of the bubble, aren't you, so to speak? So is it
100%.
It's hard to maybe just live a sort of plateau, not plateau life, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
I totally agree. Listen, I think as a player, it's either, there's no middle ground, isn't it, when you're a footballer? It's either high or there's a low. There's no middle ground. I think when you're and I hate using that word, that normal. When you're a normal person, but when you're not a footballer, there's no real extreme high anymore because you've got no football. There's no low.
Yeah.
And I think you find as a footballer, I think you realise that there's certain your routines change. You know what I mean? So I think as a footballer, you have to be addicted to football. You know what I mean? So you're addicted to something. So then and I think this is the problem that a lot of footballers have. They change the addiction to something else. So if that's drinking, if that's gambling, if that's drugs, if that's whatever that may be, you know what I mean? So you move on to something else. And it's having that understanding, having good people around you who can change your focus. You need your family, you need your kids, you need your job. You need to find a way to get over those kind of moments. And I think until people have an understanding of, people see this divide on this money thing, this money divide of, that's all right, he's just a footballer, he'll be all right. You know what I mean? That doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Nobody knows what the ins and outs of football back in the day. You know, football now, the money, which, and good luck to them. You know what I mean? The money now in football is outrageous. You know what I mean? The money back years ago wasn't the kind of money. It's good money. You know what I mean? But there's other jobs which get paid just as much as footballers back in the day. So it's not about money. It's about the person. And you take football out of the person to a different person.
Yeah.
And until people understand that, you know what I mean? They see what that person is and how they value. You know what I mean? Because they are just a normal person.